is alleged to have charged into the California home of US Speaker of the House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi with a hammer, shouting, "Where's Nancy?" before attacking her husband Paul. Now, Paul Pelosi is said to be recovering well after surgery following the attack, but DePape is expected to be charged later today with attempted murder. Let's discuss this now with the chair of Republicans Overseas UK, Greg Swenson. Greg, clearly there has been a lot of vitriolic language in US politics, a coarsening of debate. To what extent do you think horrific incidents that no doubt people of all parties would think are horrific, but incidents like these,
Sure.
To what extent do you think they are informed, perhaps inspired by the language and perhaps the brashness of Donald Trump?
Oh, I surely wouldn't blame the president only. I mean, President Trump. I mean, I thought you were going to ask the question whether it was about, hostile political rhetoric in general. And I think there is a lot of that. Now, in this particular case, I don't want to put too much emphasis on that because this guy was clearly deranged and had mental health issues. He's been living in a bus or a van. He's had psychotic episodes. I mean, this is not a person who is, getting overexcited about some political rant. So I wouldn't really blame the political hostility on this particular incident. But you're right. There has been a lot of rhetoric that is elevated to the point where it inspires people to use violence on both sides. And we saw that with the assassination attempt on Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh by a person who did not have the psychotic episode history that this assailant did. So I think you have to look at each situation individually. In this case, I surely wouldn't blame President Trump. I would blame the whole political system for elevating the rhetoric in the last few years. But I wouldn't just put that all on President Trump at all, because it happens as much with the Democrats as it does with President Trump.
And I suppose we should remember that it was only in 2018 when Senator Rand Paul was attacked on his lawn while he was mowing his lawn as well. And not just in the United States, of course, in the United Kingdom. Sir David Amess was stabbed to death.
Yeah.
And equally, we've had now two murders of sitting Conservative MPs in the last, of sitting MPs, one Labour, one Conservative in the last 7 years. Is this something that is going on in Western democracies? Is this different from where we were a couple of decades ago?
Well, I look at, whether it's purely political violence like you had with the riots in the summer of 2020, like you had with the threat on Brett Kavanaugh, or it's a psychotic episode. I mean, I go back to 1981, the assassination attempt on President Reagan. That wasn't political. Nobody blamed the Democrats for disliking Reagan. I mean, John Hinckley was clearly deranged. And so I think you have to separate the two. But you do have a point that the rhetoric has been elevated to the point where it causes some people to take it too far. I don't dispute that, and I think it would be healthy if everybody toned it down a little bit and brought down the rhetoric. A lot of these issues are not end of the world issues; they're just differences of opinion, and they should be treated that way.
Well, Greg